All right, folks, this is Shock. We're getting on the freeway, and we debated atheist official debate yesterday, number 51. I've debated more than that, but I call them official debates when they're in the conference room, when they're not just casual debates, but they come into our conference room and they want to debate in front of a live audience where they take 20 minutes, I take 20 minutes, and we give our arguments. So let me pick up very good throttle here. I'm going to be doing a nighttime video tonight, God willing, so stay tuned, guys. Should be pretty good. Okay, I'm in 6th gear. And let's talk about some of the arguments that atheists bring up, the lame, weak arguments of atheism. And then I'll give you arguments that I bring up and how we defeated another atheist last night. Right below here, go to shockofgod.net, go into the chat room, and that's where the atheists come to debate me. Now, what I'll do in this video, I have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let me first give you an outline what we're going to talk about in this video. Why we ride the mean, unforgiving freeways in California, and then I'll get into the video. So first, let's talk about the subjects of the video. Number one, very importantly, I am doing a radio show this Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Okay, 11 a.m. Pacific time. I'm going to be doing a radio show on the 15 questions that evolutionists cannot answer. It has them dazed, confused, dumbfounded, and stumped. I'm going to be going through these 15 questions live on the radio. You know, Thunderfoot hasn't yet to be able to answer these 15 questions. And when you think evolution, I was going to say when you think evolution and bananas, you think Thunderfoot. But, you know, the Amazing Atheist, now you start to think about the Amazing Atheist when you think of bananas. You guys know the Amazing Atheist is now officially the Banana Man. So we're going to talk about, I'm doing a live radio show this Sunday, getting a strong wind from my south here. Doing a radio show this Sunday. If you want to go to the radio show, click right below here. You'll see it there. Go to the radio show. Listen to me live. We're going to go through 15 questions that evolutionists just cannot answer. I'm going to be going through some of the lies, frauds of evolution. Number two. Let's talk about number two. After the radio show, right after the radio show, I'm going to be in the chat room, the Shock chat room, right here below, www.shockofgod.net, and I'm going to be giving a little mini class on how to destroy atheism in a debate each and every time. And it's good to destroy atheism in debate. When the atheist realizes their worldview is just utterly bankrupt, they realize how foolish it is, and they leave the mess of atheism. So, I'm going to do that right after the radio show. So you follow me, guys? The radio show is going to be about a half hour long. That's at 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific time. Right here below, you'll see the radio show. Click show more or more info below this video. Right after the radio show, we're going to be in my chat room at shockofgod.net, and I'm going to be giving a little mini class on how to destroy atheism in a debate. I got to get over here. Each and every time. So it should be good. Now I'm going to be talking about this debate I had with this dude last night. He got very upset. He was a very angry atheist. So those are the two things I want to talk to you about. And now let's get into why do atheists always lose debate? And why is this debate number 51 officially that we have won in the conference room? I know we've done like 56 of them, but some of them, they're just kids. Nothing against, the younger crowd, but I don't really take some of these people seriously when they talk about leprechauns and stuff. I'm talking about intellectual debates, and it's hard to find an intellectual atheist out there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some of the arguments that atheists use against you, my Christian brothers and sisters, and how to show that these arguments are weak. So let's talk about what happened last night. And by the way, I have challenged officially the amazing atheist to a debate, but he's afraid to debate you guys. Would you contact him and ask him to put down the banana? Hold on a second. Almost hit that big old pothole. Would you contact the amazing atheist and ask him to, just for once, put down the banana and debate a ex-atheist, that's me, now a Christian, on what makes more sense, what is true, atheism or Christianity? Tell him, just put down the banana just for a second. Just give me, officially give me like an hour. We'll do a debate like 40 minutes to 60 minutes. Would you contact the amazing atheist and ask him this question exactly? Why are you afraid to debate Shock of God? Is it because atheism is bananas? Okay. I am going to be switching freeways here. Now there's another dude that I would like to debate, but he too is, look at that cop there, real sneaky, trying to get people. There's another atheist that I would like to debate, the thinking atheist. But evidently he's thought about it. He knows I've challenged him a zillion times to debate. He's thought about it, and then he put his tail between his legs and he cowered. What is with these atheist cowards? I can't believe it. Just like reminds you of Richard Dawkins. Richard Dawkins cowered to Dr. William Lane Craig's debate challenge. So when you think atheism, think cowardice. That's really what I think. The reason why they don't want to debate is, the atheists, they're good at two things: genocide and losing debates. Now, why do I say genocide? Do you know that the atheist regimes are responsible for more murders, rapes, genocide than Christianity could ever do? Over 200 million murders and brutal rapes and genocide under the atheist regimes of Stalin, Pol Pot, Mao, Kim Jong-il, also through the Khmer Rouge. So let's talk about the debate we had last night. We're going to go through some fun objections or different weak arguments that atheists give, and I will tell you how to debunk them. And don't forget, listen to Shock Radio, 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific time, and right after that I'm going to be doing a class on how to destroy atheism each and every time. Believe me, we've debated enough atheists to know it's the same lame old arguments that they give every single time. They're like atheist zombies following the Dan Barkers, the Sam Harris, Richard Dawkins arguments of the world. So it's real easy to debunk them. So let's go through what happened last night. The atheist comes in and he starts mouthing off. So I like when the atheists mouth off in the chat room and they're being really rude and stuff. I like to challenge them to a debate because it really gets them silent. So I challenged him to debate, and he was kind of forced to debate me. I know he probably didn't want to, but he didn't want to look like a wussy. So we debate each other, and he lost the debate. Even the atheists and agnostics in the room admitted that he lost the debate. And then a guy came on right after him, and that guy too admitted that the atheist did horrible. The guy's name that debated me was Atheists Are Whining. Atheists are whining. Now, in the debate, here's what he said, and we're going to be taking up some really high speeds here as I get over the... Let's go through his arguments. This is where the video gets good. He said, this is what the atheist said, right? He said, well, because God knows everything, there is therefore no free will. So, basically, he's saying because God knows everything, there's no free will. And I was like, well, give me an argument for that. How could it be that because God is all-knowing, thereby there's no free will? I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to get in front of this car right here, the silver Hyundai. Now, God knows everything, right? But watch, I'm going to choose to get in the front of the car. I'm going to choose to accelerate and get in front of this Ford. You see how I did that? I chose to do it, yet God knew I was going to do it. I have free will. So the atheist fails in his argument that we don't have free will. Now watch, I'm going to get all the way to the left here. Well, I'm going to get all the way. See, I can even change my mind. I have free will. I'm going to get all the way right here. I'll get right here because I like this smooth patch of real estate right here, right below. So you know, the atheist was saying we don't have free will. I mean, the guy was a literal nut job. So I was like, what do you mean we don't have free will? So what atheists believe is that their mind just tells them what to do and they're just like a zombie. That's what they believe. So that's the first thing is when an atheist says we don't have free will because God knows everything, say, well, give me an argument for that. You can't just claim we don't have free will because God knows everything. That's just a claim. That's not an argument. An argument is you say, well, here's why, because da-da-da-da-da-da. He didn't have any arguments for it. And as I just proved, watch, I'm going to get right behind this truck here. I choose to do it. See that? God knew I was going to do it, but I chose to do it. Let's get the left lane. That's free will. I can choose it. So that's one argument that fails. Another argument that fails for atheists is evolution. That's the worst argument you could bring up. Most atheists I debate, they don't even know the difference between micro and macro evolution. Do you, my friend, know the difference between micro and macro? You should. You really should. Macro has not been proven by science. Micro has. Well, let me give you an example of what micro is. All micro is change within limits. Like how you have different types of horses, different types of dogs. They're all still horses, they're all still dogs. But the problem is with evolution is we don't have proof of evidence in the fossil record that macroevolution is true. We don't have it. In fact, a bat and a whale, for them to share common ancestry, let's say, a bat and a whale, they're both mammals, right? They're both vertebrates. We should have literally millions and millions of fossils showing intermediate forms with all these different species and animals, you know, transitioning into each other. And we don't have it. The fossil record is mysteriously silent. So if an atheist wants to use evolution for an argument for atheism, he's going to fail, because microevolution is actually mentioned in the Bible, and microevolution has been proven. In the Bible it says that God created them after their own kind, and that's exactly what we see with our eyes. We see cats beget cats, and dogs beget dogs, and horses beget horses. Let me get in front of this person. Now, it's interesting that it's very rare where atheists will bring up evolution because they know there's a problem with it. I'm going to go through 15 questions this Sunday at 11 o'clock a.m. 15 questions that atheists, evolutionists, just can't answer. They can't answer it. Right here at Shock Radio, right below here. Now let's go through another argument. The atheists want to deny that there is objective values in the world. Like, in other words, there are some things that are really wrong. And a way that you can really destroy your atheist opponent in debate is you ask them, is bestiality always wrong? And there's only two things they could say. They could say yes and be normal, like normal people would say yes, it's always wrong. or they can say no, and they can look like a sick pervert. And either way you win. If you get your atheist opponent to say no in a debate, you're just showing how bankrupt atheism is. Now, if you also click below this video where it says show more info right below here, I'm going to put a clip of a debate I had with an atheist on the radio where I asked him, let me get over here, where I asked him, is rape objectively wrong? Of course it is. It's always wrong, right? But he has to say either no, it's subjective, or yes, it is objectively wrong. Either way, I win. If he says that it is objectively wrong, I win. If he says it is subjective, I win, because then he has to give me an instance where rape would be okay and not morally wrong. So either way you win. And then he looks like a pervert. He looks like he's just evil if he's trying to say that rape is good, right? Let me get in this way, there's a lot of bumps. So either way you win. You're either going to force the atheist to go towards embarrassment and they're going to fall on their sword and say something stupid, or they're going to have to agree with you that objective morality exists. Look at this guy's vehicle. He's got football all over it. Cowboys fan. Okay, so here's what happened in the debate with this atheist on the radio. I asked him, is rape objectively wrong? He said no. So I said, well then give me an example when rape would be acceptable. And he started to evade. And you'll hear me say, don't evade. Give me an example. Force them. Force their feet. Hold their feet to the fire. And make them answer. Do not let them out of your grasp. And finally he conceded it's never okay. So most atheists, when push comes to shove and you get them where they won't evade, they will concede there is objective morality. But see, they're atheists, their idiotic atheist worldview is trying to push them towards everything being subjective, but in reality they can't do it. They can't say it. They can't say that rape is good or torturing babies for fun is good. They can't say it because deep down in their heart they know it's wrong. Okay, let's go through another argument that atheists bring up where they say because there's evil in the world, therefore God does not exist. Now, this is an amateur argument that the atheists that are more skilled in debate will never bring this up, because all of philosophy in the year 2011 has really come to an agreement that the argument there's evil in the world, therefore God doesn't exist, it actually fails on many levels. And so the educated atheists, the ones that are a little bit more skilled in debate, which are rare, they're hard to find, they don't bring that up anymore. See, it's been proven that the argument, the premise one, evil exists in the world. Premise two, since evil exists, the conclusion, therefore God doesn't exist. It's been proven that God can exist and evil be in the world. All you got to do is open the Bible, for example, because we're talking about the Christian God, and you can prove that the Christian God is compatible with evil being in the world and suffering. Look what happened with Job. He suffered for the cause of God. Look what happened with Jesus Christ. He suffered. Look what happened to Paul. He suffered. Evil was in his life, harassing him. So, in fact, to a Christian, the argument of evil in the world just doesn't have any effect on us because we realize that we're in a fallen world. Mankind is in a state of rebellion against God. And look at the first few pages of Romans. It says God gave them up, God gave them up, God gave them up. It mentions it over and over how God has given them up and allowed them to go into their depravity. Okay. But here's what you can do when they say that death is evil in the world. Not only can you show that this is consistent with the Christian God, but they just prove that objective morality exists. Because if there's some things that are evil in the world, in other words, it's really evil, then it follows logically that there's got to be things that are good. You got to have good to have evil, right? To compare it to in this world. So if there are things that are evil, then logically there are things that are good, and therefore you can tell the difference between evil and good. Objective morality exists. So when they bring up evil in the world, they're just proving that objective morality exists, and you win the objective morality argument. What else did the atheist say? Oh! Let me go ahead and end the video on this note, and I hope to see you guys. Let me say one last thing, but before I do, I hope to see you guys this Sunday, 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific time at Shock Radio. I'm doing a radio show, 30-minute long radio show right below here. Hope to see you there. Now, have you ever noticed that atheists are terrified of death? They're scared of death. I've noticed this. Why are atheists afraid of death? I think I'll title this video this. Why are atheists afraid of death? Now, I can prove it to you. If you ask a Christian, why do you worship God? Why do you confess your belief in God to the world? They'll say, because I love God. I love how he sent his son to die for my sins, and that he loves me so much that he's willing to allow his son to bear the punishment for my sins. So it's a love relationship that we have with God, right? There's no fear there. It's all love. Perfect love casts out fear. But why are atheists so afraid of death? I'll give you an example. Last night in the debate, I didn't even bring up fear of death at all. And for like 4 or 5 minutes, the atheist talked about, well, people are just afraid of death, and that's why they worship God, and they're scared of death, and this, and in fact, that shows me that he's scared of death. I didn't even bring that up in my argument. But atheists always bring up this fear of death, because if you're an atheist watching this, you're afraid of death, aren't you? Oh, yes you are. I know you are. And you got a right to be afraid. This is why atheists are afraid. They know they're going to go to hell when they die if they remain an atheist. They're terrified of death. I'll give you another example. Look at Richard Dawkins' bus ad. You know, the buses over in England. His bus campaign. Look what it says, and if you really analyze it from a psychological standpoint, if you were like a psychiatrist, clearly Richard Dawkins is afraid of death. Look at what the bus ad says. It says, there probably is no God. Stop worrying. Why would we worry if there's God? I don't get that. The ad says there probably is no God. This is what Richard Dawkins' silly little idiotic bus bench ad says. He's like a little 13-year-old kid, like on the playground. He says there probably is no God. Stop worrying and go enjoy your life. Well, atheists certainly aren't enjoying their lives as much as Christians. They have a higher suicide rate than Christians. They're depressed. You don't kill yourself because you just love life. So you can't say atheists are enjoying their life. Overall, they have a higher suicide rate, much higher than Christians. So why, ask yourself as you pat your finger to your formerly Bible-speaking mouth, why would Dawkins say, stop worrying, there probably is no God? Stop worrying? See, that's an atheist problem. Christians aren't worried at all. I know exactly where I'm going when I die. Why would Dawkins say stop worrying? You know why? He's afraid of death. I'm not the only one that caught on this bus ad thing. John Lennox was in a debate, and if you want to see a debate where Richard Dawkins stutters and stammers and gets destroyed in debate, if you want to see this debate on video, click right below here, go to shockofgod.net and go to my music podcast section, and you can see the debate there where Richard Dawkins gets destroyed in debate by John Lennox. And there's this one part where he actually verbally he actually verbally condemns Richard Dawkins, and he talks to Dawkins like Dawkins is a complete idiot, which I believe Dawkins is just a complete idiot. And he says to Dawkins, he says, why would you say in your bus campaign ad, stop worrying, there probably is no God? He goes, and Lennox caught on this, that Dawkins is afraid of dying. He's worrying. And Lennox hit on this this paranoia that Richard Dawkins has of death. He's terrified of it. So I would like to ask the atheists here, why are you so afraid of death? Why are you obsessed with talking about being afraid of death? You don't see the Christians going around talking about that. Practically every single debate I have, these atheists are obsessively afraid of death. That could tell you something. Look, if you're so afraid of death, atheist, I would second guess your worldview. God bless you guys. Have a great week. I will see you on Sunday at 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific time, right here below Shock Radio. Now, don't forget, I want you to see this video where Dawkins gets destroyed. He starts stuttering in the debate. He just fumbles and bumbles. Click right below here, go to shockofgod.net, and then go to the music podcast section, and I actually have the video of it. This is not just an audio, this is a video of him being destroyed. God bless you guys. Have a great week.